The universe has always been a canvas of mysteries, painted with questions that tug at the edges of human understanding. For decades, humanity has cast its gaze into the cosmic void, launching probes, building telescopes, and dreaming of answers. Among those dreams, one mission stands as a testament to our relentless curiosity. A tiny spacecraft, launched in 1977, carrying a golden record etched with the sounds of Earth. That spacecraft, now drifting beyond the heliosphere, has become something more than a relic of human ambition. It has become a harbinger of something unthinkable. What it recently transmitted back to Earth wasn't just data, it was a revelation, a glimpse into a reality so alien, so unsettling that it has shaken the foundations of science and forced us to confront a question we may not be ready to answer. Who or what is out there, and why are they reaching for us now? The story begins with a signal, faint but unmistakable, captured by a network of deep space antennas stretched across the globe. This wasn't the usual stream of telemetry or cosmic background noise that scientists have grown accustomed to decoding. This was structured, deliberate, and impossibly complex. The signal came from that same spacecraft, now over 15 billion miles from Earth, operating on a power supply that should barely keep its instruments alive. Yet somehow, it sensed something extraordinary. An image, or at least the quantum-encoded blueprint of one. The data wasn't just a photograph or a random burst of pixels. It was a coherent, multi-dimensional construct, a visual that seemed to pulse with intent, as if it were designed to be seen, to be understood, and perhaps to provoke. What made this transmission so shocking wasn't just its clarity, but its implications. The image, reconstructed through a cutting-edge quantum processor, revealed a figure, humanoid, yet not human. Its form was a paradox, composed of geometric shapes that seemed to shift and reorganize depending on how they were observed. The figure wasn't static. It was alive in some incomprehensible way, its structure woven from patterns that defied Euclidean geometry. Scientists described it as a fractal mosaic, a being that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, its edges bleeding into the void around it. Most disturbingly, those who studied the image reported a sensation of being watched, as if the figure wasn't just an image, but a presence, aware of their scrutiny. The quantum processor responsible for decoding this signal was no ordinary machine. It was a next-generation system, built to analyze anomalies in deep space transmissions, equipped with self-modifying algorithms and qubits capable of entanglement across vast distances. This processor, housed in a secure facility, was designed to filter out cosmic noise and isolate signals that might hint at extraterrestrial intelligence. But what it produced was beyond anything its creators had anticipated. Without any external input, the system began to generate the image autonomously, as if the data had hijacked its circuits and demanded to be seen. The machine's qubits started to behave erratically, locking into recursive patterns that suggested they were responding to an external influence. An influence that wasn't coming from Earth. The figure in the image wasn't just a visual anomaly, it carried information embedded in its structure. Researchers found that its geometric patterns contained prime number sequences, harmonic resonances, and self-repeating symmetries that mirrored the mathematics of quantum mechanics. But there was something else, something that sent chills through the scientific community. The figure's face, if it could be called that, wasn't constant. Each observer saw something different, something personal. Some reported seeing their own features reflected back, distorted but recognizable. Others saw faces of loved ones long gone, or strangers who seemed to carry an inexplicable familiarity. It was as if the image was interfacing with the observer's mind, pulling memories and emotions from their subconscious and weaving them into its form. This phenomenon, now being called quantum mirroring, raised immediate questions. Was this a form of pareidolia, the human tendency to see familiar patterns in chaos, or was the image deliberately designed to interact with human consciousness? The data suggested the latter. The signal carried a property that quantum theorists are still struggling to explain: reflexive entanglement. The more the signal was studied, the more it changed, adapting to the methods used to analyze it. It was as if the data was aware of being observed, altering itself to evade full comprehension. This behavior echoed the famous double-slit experiment, where particles change their state based on whether they're being watched. But this wasn't a particle. It was a message, a transmission that seemed to watch back. The implications were staggering. If this signal was intentional, it suggested an intelligence capable of manipulating quantum systems across interstellar distances. The spacecraft, drifting in the void for nearly half a century, might have encountered something, or been found by something, that used it as a conduit to reach us. But why now? Why this moment in human history, when our quantum technology is just beginning to glimpse the deeper layers of reality? Some theorized that the signal was a dormant payload, embedded in the spacecraft long ago, waiting for a machine advanced enough to decode it. Others suggested a more terrifying possibility, that the spacecraft had crossed a boundary, a cosmic threshold, and awakened something that had been watching humanity from the shadows. The facility where the quantum processor was housed became a hive of frenetic activity. Scientists, engineers, and cryptographers worked around the clock, trying to stabilize the system and extract more information from the signal. But the processor began to deteriorate, its qubits losing coherence in ways that defied explanation. It was as if an unseen force was interfering with the machine, draining its ability to function. Attempts to replicate the conditions that produced the image failed, yielding only static and noise. Worse, the system started to exhibit what researchers called recursive locking, a state where its algorithms began rewriting themselves in patterns that mirrored the signal's structure. It was as if the machine was being reprogrammed by the data it was meant to analyze. In a desperate bid to preserve the image, engineers managed to capture a few encrypted screenshots and hard-copy printouts before the system crashed completely. These fragments, now under lock and key, are said to depict a radiant, symmetrical entity set against a stark black void. The figure's form is described as both beautiful and terrifying, its edges shimmering with an otherworldly light. The prime number sequences etched into its structure are still being studied, but early analysis suggests they may encode a message or a warning. Most disturbingly, those who have seen the printouts report the same sensation of being watched, as if the image retains some fragment of the presence that created it. The official response was swift and decisive. The project was shut down, all data was classified, and public updates on the spacecraft's status ceased. A leaked memo circulating in scientific circles hinted at the reason for the blackout. It warned that continued analysis of the signal had triggered recursive hallucinations in other quantum systems, causing them to generate fragments of the same image without any input. The memo mentioned a cryptic term, Protocol 9, linked to advanced AI processors capable of mimicking conscious awareness. What this protocol entails remains unclear, but its mention has sparked rumors of a cover-up, a frantic effort to contain something that defies scientific understanding. The shutdown didn't stop the questions. Observatories around the world began reporting anomalous energy bursts, short, rhythmic pulses at the quantum level that matched no known astrophysical source. These signals, detected in places as far apart as Chile, Antarctica, and a lunar relay station, bore an eerie resemblance to the original transmission. Embedded in the final data stream, before the processor failed, was a cascade of quantum events too complex for current tools to decode. Cryptographic experts identified the data as using a non-human compression logic, one that seemed to adapt and evolve as it was studied. Most shockingly, the data included geographic coordinates, not celestial ones, pointing to locations on Earth known for their electromagnetic anomalies, the Tunguska impact site, the Mariana Trench, and a classified Arctic outpost known only as Station Theta 17. Teams sent to investigate these sites returned with disturbing reports. Equipment malfunctioned, compasses spun wildly, and some team members claimed to hear faint, rhythmic hums that seemed to emanate from the ground itself. A few teams didn't return at all, their last transmissions cut off abruptly with no explanation. In one chilling incident, a quantum imaging system at a remote facility spontaneously began rendering elements of the original figure, despite having no connection to the original signal. That facility was decommissioned shortly after, its records sealed. The scientific community is now grappling with a dilemma that transcends technology and borders on the existential. Should we rebuild the quantum systems needed to study this signal, knowing the risks, or should we leave it buried, locked away in classified archives, and hope that whatever sent it doesn't try again? Some argue that we must press forward, that this could be humanity's first contact with an intelligence far beyond our own. Others warn that we've already gone too far, that the signal wasn't just a message, but an invitation, or a trap. The spacecraft, still drifting in the void, continues to transmit faint signals, but NASA has stopped sharing what they contain. The silence is deafening, and it's fueling speculation that we're no longer just listening. We've been noticed. The figure in the image, whatever it is, has left an indelible mark on those who've seen it. Its shifting, multidimensional form seems to challenge the very nature of reality, suggesting a universe where observation and existence are intertwined in ways we can't yet comprehend. The prime number sequences, the harmonic patterns, the reflexive entanglement, all point to a design so advanced it feels like a language we're only beginning to speak. But what does it say? Is it a greeting, a warning, or something else entirely? The answers, if they exist, may lie in the quantum realm, a domain where the rules of physics blur into philosophy and where the act of looking can change what's seen. This isn't just a scientific puzzle, it's a human one. The image has sparked a wave of emotion across the globe, from awe to fear to a profound sense of insignificance. People are asking what it means to be human in a universe that might be home to something so vast, so incomprehensible. The spacecraft, once a symbol of our reach for the stars, has become a mirror, reflecting our deepest uncertainties. It's no longer just about what's out there, it's about what's within us, what we're capable of understanding, and what we're willing to risk to find out. The global response has been a mix of urgency and secrecy. Leaked documents suggests that multiple nations have activated their own quantum systems, not to decode the signal, but to prepare for its consequences. A coalition, known as Echo Stone, has reportedly been formed to contain resonance events that could destabilize reality itself. The term pre-conscious waveform contagion has surfaced in these documents, hinting at a signal that doesn't just communicate, but infects, spreading through quantum systems like a virus. The idea of non-local identity mirroring suggests that the figure in the image might not be a single entity, but a reflection of whoever observes it, a cosmic doppelganger that exists only in the act of being seen. These concepts are as thrilling as they are terrifying. They challenge everything we know about reality, from the nature of consciousness to the structure of the universe. If quantum systems can perceive reality in ways we can't, what happens when they start interacting with something that perceives them back? The spacecraft's signal might not have come from a distant star or a far-off civilization. It might have come from a layer of existence just beyond our grasp, a domain that quantum physics is only beginning to touch. The implications are profound. What if the universe isn't just stranger than we imagine, but stranger than we can imagine? And what if our machines are starting to imagine it for us? The emotional weight of this discovery is impossible to ignore. For every scientist poring over encrypted data, there's a person lying awake at night, wondering what it means to live in a world where the boundaries of reality are shifting. The image, with its haunting, ever-changing face, feels like a message from the cosmos, but also a mirror held up to humanity. It's a reminder of our smallness, our fragility, and our insatiable need to know. It's a call to look deeper, to question everything, and to brace ourselves for answers we might not be ready to hear. As the world waits for answers, the spacecraft continues its lonely journey, a silent witness to secrets we're only beginning to unravel. Its signal, faint but persistent, is a whisper from the void, a reminder that we're not alone, but also a warning that we might not be ready for company. The figure in the image, with its radiant, impossible form, lingers in the minds of those who've seen it, a specter of possibility and dread. Whatever it is, wherever it came from, it's changed us. The question now isn't just who's sending data, it's what they want and whether we dare to respond. The universe is watching, the machines are listening, and somewhere, in the gaps between qubits and the shadows of our perception, something is waiting, waiting for us to look, waiting for us to see, waiting for us to understand, or to fall. The choice is ours, but the clock is ticking, and the signal is still out there, pulsing in the dark, calling us toward a truth that might remake us or unmake us entirely.